I welcome you all to this session in the afternoon. My topic for today is research tools and analysis. So, let us try to discuss what research is first, and then we will move on to the tools, and then we will move on to how to analyze those tools. These three are the main aspects of my presentation: research, what are the tools, and how these tools are used for analysis. Okay, can we have the next slide? Yeah, these are the contents of my presentation: introduction, origin, definition, types of tools, qualitative tools, online qualitative tools, advantages and disadvantages of these tools. Next is quantitative tools, online quantitative tools, advantages and disadvantages of this, analysis of qualitative data and methods of analysis, analysis of quantitative data, methods of analysis, research ethics, and finally, conclusion. Okay, so let us start our presentation with a thought. Research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. Now, this in a nutshell is what research is. Research is nothing new, actually. Research is actually seeing what is already there in a new way. Okay. Everybody tries to see things as they are, but a researcher will see a thing in a new angle. A researcher tries to find out about the fundamental things like what, why, and how. Now, these are the things a researcher will concentrate on. So, research is seeing something which everybody sees in a new angle. That is what it is. Okay? Now, let us start our presentation with that thought. Now, let me introduce you what research is. Okay? Research is nothing but getting knowledge. Research improves knowledge. It will take you to the higher levels of knowledge. Research gives you a lot of information, and research will make people curious. Researchers are very curious people because they want to find something new in everything. So it is the curiosity of the human beings which propelled us to find so many new things in life, isn't it? See, our lives have started in Paleolithic age in caves, and today how much progress we have made. And it is all because of the human curiosity. So that is why curiosity is the most important thing, that is a raw material that is needed by a researcher. And next, a research should be credible. Credible means something which can be believed in. Okay, something which you can prove. So research is something which we can prove with proofs. And next, analysis. Research tries to explain how things are, what things are, how they are happening. So, analysis takes place in research. And next, discernment. Now, research people who do research also have social responsibility. They should know which information is good to reveal. They should know which information is harmful to the people, which information is beneficial to the people. Okay, so that sort of discernment should be there in the researcher. They should not tell about things that are harmful to people. And if something poses a danger to people, it is the duty of the researcher to point out that also. See, the discovery of the atomic bomb, isn't it? Atomic energy has a lot of uh, potential good uses as well as bad uses. So, the discernment of the researcher is very, very important in making such discoveries. Okay, yes. Next is problem solving. Discernment tries to solve the problems in the world. See, we have so many burning problems of environment, like how to get rid of all the waste. Waste management is such a big issue nowadays, isn't it? Like that, we need fuels that are very clean, which don't pollute our atmosphere so much. So these are all the problems, and all these problems need to be solved, and they can be solved through good research. So research is also problem solving. And next is new ideas. Research always gives birth to new ideas. Something we already have, a means of transport, we try to find something better. We already have 5G, we try to find something better, maybe 6G, isn't it? Like that, research gives birth to new ideas. And when new ideas are churned out, we have to create them, we have to design them, we have to give them to the people. And for all these, we need jobs, isn't it? So, new jobs are created through research of new things. And finally, research empowers people. See, all the gadgets that human beings have discovered, and all the gadgets that human beings have invented. We have invented a lot of things. We have discovered what is already there, isn't it? So both we have done. And whenever something is invented or discovered, it empowers the humanity. It gives us strength to find out new things, to become a stronger economies, and to become a stronger planet, isn't it? So that is why research also empowers people. So these are the different facets of research. Research will give us knowledge, information. It is fueled by curiosity. It relies on credibility. It follows good analysis, and it is the duty of the researcher to be discerning, and research solves the world problems. It puts forth new ideas, it generates employment, and finally, research empowers people. So these are the different facets of research. Can we have the next slide? Yes. Now let us try to understand the origin of the word research. Okay. Now we have three words in our title: the word research, the word tool, and the word analysis. So I'm trying to explain the origin of these three words. Okay. The first word is research. The word research is actually from French language. Mostly all the words are from Greek or Latin, isn't it? But for a change, this word research is from French language. And the word in French is the root word, what we call is researcher. Researcher means to search. Okay. So research means searching for something. Okay. Next is tool. The word tool is actually a German word. The origin of the word is German. And the word is pronounced as Tollen. Tollen means an implement. Implement. Implement means a kind of a gadget which performs a few tasks. And next, the word analysis. The word analysis comes from Greek language. The root word is analysis, which means unloosen, means to unravel, to find out. Okay. So, research means to search, tool means an implement, and analysis means to find out. So, these are the origin of the three words in our topic. Next, please. Yeah. Now, let us see what is the definition of research. Research is nothing but a systematic investigation into and study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. Research is actually a systematic investigation. Research starts with a proposal and then slowly it moves to data collection. We try to experiment and then we compare results. We do literary survey. Finally, we arrive at conclusions and we take the qualitative and quantitative data and finally we reach new conclusions. So that is the process research usually follows. So it is a systematic investigation. Everything follows according to the procedure. Okay. And for every research, we need source materials. Means the reliable sources on which we can think of and on which we can research. Okay. Sources should be original. Sources should be reliable. Okay. And when the sources are reliable, then we can establish facts. And when we can establish facts, we can reach conclusions. Next slide. Okay. Now, what is a research tool? Okay. We have understood what research is. Now, the next part is what is the research tool? Tools are implements, as I told already, and tools are used to help or aid in research. Okay. Now, research tool is actually a device, technology, procedure, biological material, computer system, software, analytical technique. So many tools are there, isn't it? See, sometimes research tool can be a device. See, I'm conducting a survey, for example. So then I use telephone. So that's a device. Okay. Or it can be technology. See, if I am conducting research on technology, definitely I will use technology. If I am inventing a new machine, I will use machines, isn't it? Yeah, like that. Next, procedure. See, if I am conducting research on accounts or any other subjects, I will follow a procedure. Legal procedure, business procedure, like that. If I am inventing a vaccine for some virus like COVID, I will use biological material like blood, plasma, all these things. So if I am conducting a research in computers, I will definitely use computer systems and software. And analytical technique. If I am analyzing market trends, if I am analyzing shares, all these things, if I am doing research on these, I will use analytical techniques. So tools are used to assist us in the research to reach conclusions in a systematic and a faster way. Okay. So it tools actually aid or help us in research. Next slide. Yeah. So what are the tools? Next slide, please. Yeah. There are two types of tools in research. There are many tools actually, but I am concentrating on the most important varieties of tools. Okay, because these are the two broad categories of tools. Okay, so what are they? First one is qualitative research tools, and second one is quantitative research tools. Okay, now what are qualitative research tools? Qualitative research tools, as the word says, is about qualities of people. So what are the qualities of people? We can be good, we can be bad, we can be moody, we can be angry. So many emotions are there, isn't it? And because of those emotions, we form different opinions. We can have a positive opinion, we can have a negative opinion, we can have a neutral opinion. So many opinions are there, isn't it? So opinions and behaviors of people, depending on the opinions and behavior of people, we formulate qualitative research. Okay. So qualitative research tools are dependent on opinions and behaviors of people. Now, what are quantitative research tools? The word itself tells you quantity. Quantity means something which is measurable. Okay, this many kilos, this much length, this much height, this much breadth. Okay, it is quantifiable. You can see it as a number, you can prove it. Okay, so everything that can be measured or proven is called quantitative research tool. So both these tools are required for research. They are like the foundation stones of research. Both quality and quantity are like two pillars on which the whole research stands on. Okay? Yeah. So next slide, please. Next, qualitative research. Yeah. So what are qualitative research tools? What are the features of qualitative research tools? Let us try to understand. Okay. Qualitative research tools are used to gather, structure, interpret data, identify patterns, themes in text, audios, and videos. Okay. Qualitative tools concentrate on gathering information. See, information is needed to understand the research problem, to prove the research hypothesis. So that is why qualitative tools are used to gather information. Okay. Now, when information is gathered, it will be structured, it will be divided as per the research. Okay. Whatever we require, in that manner, we try to structure the data. Okay. Now, after structuring the data, we try to explain it. Now, that explaining is called interpreting of data. Okay. And then we identify the patterns. With the given data, we will see, yeah, this is similar, this is contrast, this is opposite, this is parallel. Like that, we can make different patterns out of information. Okay. Now, how can we do all this? It can be done with text, audio, or video. Opinions of people we can take in the form of SMS. We can take in the form of questionnaire. We can take in the form of surveys. Like that we can do. Or we can ask people to give feedback orally through phone or through any other way we can take the audio. Or else we can picture a video which has both audio as well as person. Okay. So from these things we can gather qualitative data. Okay. So that is why we can do interviews, we can do discussions, or we can do customer reviews. See, whenever we buy something online, they will ask us, isn't it? Can you please write a review on this? How the product is. So even when you order food on Zomato or something, immediately they will ask, can you write a review on this? Why? Because they want to gather the opinion. They want to understand the customer behavior, isn't it? So that is why qualitative tools help us in getting such kind of information. It can be done through focus groups, ethnographic research, and case studies. What are focus groups? Focus groups are small groups which will concentrate on one aspect of the problem. See, there will be a focus group which will study customer behavior. There will be a focus group which will study on a particular subject only. Okay. The scope is very limited. Such a group is called focus group. Ethnographic research. Ethnographic research means trying to analyze what a group of people are doing. See, group of people means, for example, let us take India, South India, North India, West India, East India, like that, depending on the place. Or else you can say Tamilians, Telugu people, Gujaratis, Maharashtrians, like that you can take one set of people from one state. So that is called ethnographic research. Studying a group of people and finding what is common to them, or comparing different groups of people, saying how chameleons, which products they buy, and Andhras, which products they buy. Or Maharashtrians, what type of products they like. That is ethnographic research. And next, case studies. Case studies is limited to only one case. So they will study only one product or one incident, and they will try to get the opinions and behaviors of people on that one incident only. That is called case study. Okay? Yeah. Next, please. Yeah. There are many online qualitative data tools. Now, I told you all this research should be conducted, isn't it? But how to do research on a large scale? Suppose I am studying Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. The population itself is so much, isn't it? So many crores of people will be there. Okay. Then how can we do such a big study? It is difficult, isn't it? So for that, we need online tools. So what are the online tools? Online tools are all these. The tools I have given on the screen. The online qualitative data tools are known for accuracy, speed, objectivity, and affordability. Okay. Online tools are accurate because they try to analyze everything in a systematic way. That is why they are accurate. They are very speedy. Okay. Whenever we do online polls, we give a poll question, immediately hundreds of people will give answers, isn't it? So it is very speedy. It is objective. There is no partiality. See, when a person is conducting some research, they may like or they may dislike a person. So there will be a little bit of partiality. But whereas for a machine, it is totally objective. There is no partiality for a machine, isn't it? And affordability. See, if I have to go to 100 places and research on 100 people, it will take me lot of time, lot of money, and lot of modes of transport I have to take. But if I'm doing it online, it will be very affordable, isn't it? All I need is just one internet connection. Okay. So that is why it is very affordable. Okay. That is why online tools are gaining lot of importance because we can do it from the comfort of our place without spending so much. Okay. Now let us see what are the online qualitative data tools. I have divided them into two parts. The first column, if you observe, are the tools that are used for academic research. Means research which is concerned with education. Okay. The second part of the second column that I have given is about consumer research. Means consumers, online consumers like you and me. How whenever we buy something online, we become an online consumer, isn't it? So for them, these are the tools. So that is why I have put them in two columns. The first column is for academic research and the second column is for consumer research. Now let me read out the tools. There are actually hundreds of tools, but I am giving you only the most important tools. If you are interested, you can log into the any website and see these tools for yourself. Okay. So for academic research, it is EndNote, Abstracts, Articyclopedia, Biomedical, Project Gutenberg, Perseus Digital Library, Questia, and Web of Science. Now, from these things, the endnotes and abstracts are used for literary research mostly. And art encyclopedia is used for arts. Okay. And biomedical, as the name itself suggests, it is for medical field. And Project Gutenberg, I'm sure most of you are aware of this. It is good for books. They will give you original books and that too for free, totally free. And next, Perseus Digital Library. This is used for ancient languages like Greek and Latin. Okay. Now, Questia is used for all humanities like social studies, economics, public administration, all these things. Web of Sciences is used for science. Okay. Now, these are all academic research online tools. Now, let us talk about consumer research. Now, when we do consumer research, we are studying markets. And we study markets for business purpose, sometimes for shares, sometimes for making policies for finance, insurance, such companies. Okay. Now, what are the tools that are available? NVO, Quirkos, Thematic, Delve, Mancuba, etc. Okay. Now, NVO is the most popular online tool. Quarks is very affordable, and thematic is the tool which is connected to artificial intelligence, AI, which is most happening thing right now. And next, Delve has a lot of memory that is cloud based, so you can store your information there. Okay. And Maxuda, it tries to integrate text, audio, video. All three it can integrate. Okay. And consumer research tools, they discover patterns, predict emerging trends, it gives demographic data and analyze the sentiments of people. How do they study markets? They try to see the patterns in the patterns means which product, which type of consumer is buying. Say people from 20 to 50 age group. This group is buying this product more. Or from 18 to 20, teenagers are buying this product more. So like that, they will try to get a pattern and they can predict emerging trends. Means this year, suppose 1,000 products have been sold. Okay, so next year they can predict that the number will be doubled or the number will be more, less, like that. Okay, and demographic data means which area people are buying more, what are they doing with this product, and analyze sentiments. When are they buying it? They are buying it before festival, or they are buying it for Christmas, or they are buying it for some other Raksha Bandhan or something. Like that, it tries to analyze the sentiment of the consumer so that that product can be available at that time so that the sales will be boosted. See, it helps the economy, it helps the business, it helps making policies. So this is how qualitative data tries to help the researcher. Okay. Now next, please. Advantages and disadvantages. Every technology or every aspect has both advantages as well as disadvantages. Now let us try to understand the advantages and disadvantages of qualitative tools. Qualitative tools on the pro side, on the advantage side, they give us a very good estimation of attitudes and behaviors of people. Okay. It is open ended, so it is having a lot of scope for discussion. See, when you ask people you like it or not, yes or no, they say yes or they say no. But if you ask people, tell me about the product, what is your feeling about the product, then they will give you more information, isn't it? So, giving more information depends on open ended questions. Now, open ended questions are possible only in qualitative data. You can't do that in quantitative data. Okay. So, in qualitative data, we try to go for discussions. Then we can gather more information. Then we can discuss different issues. Then the consumer can say, share the problems, share the experience of using the product, and they can even give you feedback on how to improve the product. Okay. So all these things can be possible with qualitative tools. Okay. That is why we say it is very flexible because we can do so many things with qualitative data. Okay. But unfortunately, there are some disadvantages also for this method. So, what are the disadvantages? Choosing the right sample is difficult. See, when we talk about vast demographic regions like India, suppose we have more than 100 crores of people, isn't it? So, it is very difficult to say what people in India like? Because who can say what 100 crores of people like, isn't it? So choosing the right sample. Can we say India likes something based on what 1 crore people like? It is difficult, no? Very difficult. So choosing the right sample is very difficult in qualitative data. And qualitative data can also be biased. As I told you, with people, partiality will be there. At least some percentage of partiality will be there. If I like the product, or if I like the model who is giving the product, suppose you like a cricketer, that cricketer is modeling for a product. Even if that product is bad, people will use it because they like that cricketer or they like that cinema star, isn't it? So that kind of bias will be there in qualitative data. Okay. And it depends on the skill of data collector. This is also important. When you are collecting qualitative data, the person who is collecting the data should be very skillful. They should know how to get information from people, and they should ask very politely. Okay. If the data collector is not interested, or if the data collector is very angry or biased himself, then he or she may not get correct data. So this is the problem for qualitative data. Okay. Now next, can we have the next slide? Yeah, quantitative research. Next, please. Yeah, quantitative tools. What are the features of quantitative tools? Okay, let me see. Quantitative tools, as I told, they are measurable and they are verifiable. Now let us see the other aspects of quantitative tools. What are they? They are objective, they are verifiable, they are systematic, they are standardized. Means the information which we get from a quantitative tool is very objective. There is no personal bias in numbers. Numbers are not biased because they are very objective and they are verifiable. See, suppose I am making water. Hydrogen, oxygen gives us water. This is what we know, isn't it? Wherever you do this experiment in any part of the world, it will be the same result, isn't it? That is why it is verifiable, it is objective, systematic, and standardized. There won't be any kind of change in quantitative tools. Whereas in qualitative tools, some parts people may like the product, some parts people may not like the product. In some parts, it might be useful, in some parts, it will be useless, isn't it? See, if there is an ice cream, there is a lot of need for ice cream in a place which is very hot. So if I go and sell ice cream in Antarctica, who will buy? Isn't it? So it the result will vary. Whereas in quantitative data, it is always the same. Wherever we take it, the result will be the same. Okay. It is numerical and precise. Quantitative data we can predict. Why? Because it is precise. It will be the same result any place on earth. Okay. And it is numerical. We can say 100%, we can say 80%, we can say 60%. The number or the fact is fixed. Testing hypothesis. We can test quantitative tools, but we can't test qualitative tools. Okay. And comparison and replication. We can compare quantitative tools. 60% of people like this product in Maharashtra. 60% of people did not like this product in Andhra. Like that we can compare. Okay. And replication. Once the product is, once the system is set up, we can use the same system in different scenarios. That is called replication. See, if I have conducted an MCQ quiz for my students in my college, the same quiz can be given to some other set of students in some other college, isn't it? So you can replicate it. Quantitative things we can replicate. Okay. Surveys and polls. Surveys are conducted, we know, online offline, in any way possible we can give. And polls also. Polls we can give online. Nowadays we can give online polls directly. Whenever we do seminars also sometimes, we can simply ask a poll question and immediately they answer. Isn't it? So on the spot you will get answer. Okay. And interviews. Interviews can be done through phones, face to face, online, offline, in whichever line. Okay. So these are the quantitative tools, features. Next, please. Online quantitative tools. As I told you, online procedures are very important right now in this current scenario. So that is why let us see what are the online quantitative tools. Now, online quantitative tools are emails, embedded surveys on websites, social distribution, QR codes, online survey apps, and SMS surveys. Emails, we can send it through mail. Embedded surveys on websites. So, if a product has a website, on the website itself, you can have a small survey and you can ask the consumers to rate the product, to give rating for the product, isn't it? And you can do social distribution, means from door to door you can give a survey, and after 1 hour or 2 hours you can collect and you can take it. Like that also you can do social distribution. Or QR codes. You can give the code immediately as soon as it is scanned, the survey will appear on your phone and you have to answer. Okay, that is QR survey. And then online survey apps. There are some apps on online where they survey you on different products. And when you give your feedback, you will be given points. And on some apps, they will give you some rewards also. Okay. Next, XMS surveys that can be done on mobile phones. Okay. Now, next, what are the online quantitative tools on a large scale? On a large scale, we have things like Google Analytics. It tries to research the trends in the market. It will give you the broad basic trends. And next, Hotjar. Hotjar is a very beautiful website. It will give us all the information about the trends in the customers, how customers are reacting to the product, whether they are interested in the product or not. See, some people, they may not buy things immediately, but still they will be interested. They will visit the site so many times. Maybe they can't afford it right now, or maybe they want to buy it after 6 or 7 months. Sometimes that also happens. So, Hotjar tries to see whether the participant is interested or not. Not just buying and not buying, but interested also. That aspect also can be seen. Okay. And next, mix panel. Mix panel is used for digital products like cell phones, laptops, etc. And amplitude. Amplitude tries to see the user behavior, means how the users are preferring what. Okay. During the corona COVID time, most of us, most of the people who also who didn't have a smartphone by that time, they also bought a smartphone. Why? Because their children are attending online classes. So like that, sometimes the user behavior changes depending on the situation. Okay. Such things are studied by some sites like Amplitude. And next is OmniConvert. OmniConvert actually compares different products. Any number of products you give it to that software, it will try to compare. Best example is mobile phone, isn't it? Whenever we try to buy a mobile phone on website, it will give you a button saying compare. So you can add 4 or 5 phones to the list and get a comparison. Now that is possible because of the online quantitative tools. Okay? Yeah. And next, HubSpot. HubSpot is for actually marketing people, for sales people, because it studies sales and marketing. Okay? Yeah. Next, please. Advantages and disadvantages. What are the advantages and disadvantages of quantitative tools? As I told you, the main advantage of quantitative tool is it is able to cover so many people in such a short time. Okay, because it can handle a large sample size. Okay, and it is objective. This is also a very important aspect. There is no bias in quantitative tool. And it is very fast, it is anonymous. See, when we are doing qualitative research, we need to know the person to a large extent, at least to some extent, if not everything. But for a quantitative research, the person can be A, B, C. You need not know who that person is. You just need that vote, isn't it? So that is why it is anonymous. And it is very reliable because numbers don't lie, isn't it? Yeah. Now, next, advantages and disadvantages. Now, let us see the disadvantages point. Disadvantages is it is limited view. As I told you, the qualitative tool is open ended. You can have lot of discussions. You can understand why, what, how, all these things. Whereas in a quantitative tools, we have only two answers, yes, no. So the limited view is very limited. We can't go far. We can't have more aspects for discussion. It is not possible. And it is artificial because always it revolves around only two options. So that is why it becomes very stunted and artificial sometimes. Not always, sometimes. No follow up. See, when we are doing a qualitative research, we will do the research on the first level and the second level research will be done after 6 months. Suppose you buy a product, immediately you may like it. But after using it for 6 months, you may change your opinion depending on its performance, isn't it? So in a qualitative research, you can have both. What is the immediate reaction? What is the after reaction? Both. Whereas in quantitative, after reaction study is difficult because you are doing only yes or no, isn't it? You are not taking the complaint or you are not taking the feedback. So that is why it will become very less in scope. And oversimplification. Trying to understand thing with only yes or no is very oversimplification, isn't it? Because there are so many things between yes and no. See, when you like something, yes, but when you don't like something, no has so many reasons. Okay. So without understanding all the reasons, just saying no is not enough. So that is why for a researcher, it is very important to take into consideration both qualitative and quantitative data. You can't do research based on only one thing because both are necessary to understand a situation correctly. Okay? Yeah. Next, please. Analysis of qualitative data. How do we analyze qualitative data? There are actually so many ways, but I am discussing the 5 important ways. And they are content analysis, thematic analysis, narrative analysis, grounded theory analysis, and discourse analysis. Let us try to understand what these are. Next slide, please. Content analysis. Now, qualitative data is very, very vast. Okay. Now, to process this data, we need a way or a technique to understand this kind of data. So, what is the technique? The first one is content technique. Now, when we are doing content analysis, what we try to do is we try to take a video, audio, or a text, any one of these, and we try to assess the consumer behavior from this. Okay, suppose somebody wrote a review. We try to understand the behavior of the customer based on the review. Okay, that is called content analysis. Means directly you are taking content and analyzing it. Next is thematic analysis. Thematic analysis means you are not taking content into consideration. You are taking all the responses into consideration and you are taking only the theme. You are picking only one aspect. from all the reviews, you're trying to pick only one aspect. What? How many people are buying this? And how they are changing their opinion based on the product. Is it based on time? Is it based on performance? Or is it based on any other aspect? Okay, so we are trying to identify the common theme from all the reviews. That is thematic analysis. Narrative analysis. Narrative analysis, the best example is what we get on TVs. We have so many information related advertisements, isn't it? They are called infomercials. They are commercials, but they give us lot of information. That's why they are called infomercials. Now, in these information infomercials, mostly we see products like weight loss supplements or any such things. Okay, that is the best example I can think of right off the bat. Okay, so in these things, what we get is we get testimonies of people. They say, see, I was 100 kgs before, and now I have become 50 kgs because I have used this product. Okay, so they will give you a testimony. They will say how they have used it and how it has benefited them. So it is like a narrative, it is like a story. So from this, we try to understand the product. Okay. Case studies, interviews. It understands the motivation and sentiments of the consumer. See, for weight loss, the person may have been rejected by in some job, or maybe he might have been bullied in school or college because of that, isn't it? So there are so many motivations and sentiments related to buying the product. Okay, so all these emotions, they are analyzed, they are studied, and they are used to build better products. So that is how narrative analysis happens. And now next is grounded theory. The grounded theory develops theory from data, understand disengagement or change in views. Now, some people, they buy a product, but after some time they disengage from it. What is disengagement? Disengagement means they are no longer interested in the product. See, some product, it might be very, very popular at some point of time. But after some time, people will lose interest in it. For example, if you take into consideration, there were some water filters. Yeah, well, I think that would be the best example. There were some water filters which did not utilize power supply previously. Okay. And they were very popular at one point of time. But after some time, purifiers which use electricity became very, very popular. And now we don't use the previous product so much, isn't it? So there was a disengagement from that product and there was a new product that was favored. Okay. So this disengagement, why did it happen? Because the new product is doing better than the old product, isn't it? So the grounded theory tries to study the reasons for the product to be disengaged and for the new product to be engaged. You understand? So this kind of changes in consumer behavior can be studied through grounded theory analysis. Excuse me. And next is discourse analysis. Please excuse me. Please excuse my sore throat. I'm currently suffering from fever. Okay. So let me try to explain the next aspect, which is discourse analysis. In discourse analysis, we try to understand the feelings and social context of a product. So, what are the feelings and social context of a product? As I told you, Okay. As I told you, sometimes the product, the consumers who buy the product will change their feelings towards the product. And it is because of social contact. The best example I can give is again the time we had pandemic. During the pandemic, most of us have used sanitizers very widely, isn't it? Almost everybody, just like vegetables, every week they have bought new sanitizers to be used all around the house. But once the pandemic is over, nowadays we are not using it so much. So the customers have changed their behavior depending on the social context. Okay. So that type of change is studied under discourse analysis. Okay. Yeah. Next, please. Methods of quantitative data analysis. Now, what are the different ways in which quantitative data can be explained? They are, first one is statistical analysis. Statistical analysis, we all of us are very familiar because we study statistics at a basic level in school itself. And some people go on to do it specifically in higher levels also. But this is a very minimum kind of statistic analysis which I am sure all of us have come across. They are mean, medium, mode, percentage, and frequency and range. What is the mean? Mean is nothing but the average. The average number of people that are favoring the product is called the mean. Okay. And what is the median? In a given data, the most um, the midpoint value, whatever the midpoint is, the highest, the lowest, and the midpoint, isn't it? That midpoint value is called median. Mode. Mode is the most common value that is found in the data. Percentage. Percentage, we all know 100%, 40, 50, 60, like that, depending on how many number of people in a 100 people, isn't it? That is percentage. And frequency. How many number of times people have bought the product. Okay. Range. Range is nothing but the highest point and the lowest point. I think I have made myself clear. Mean means the average of the whole data. Median means the middle point of the data. Range is the highest and the lowest. Median is the middle point. Mode is the most common value found in the entire data. Percentage is for every 100 how many people have favored or not favored something. Frequency is number of times the product has been bought or number of times the something has happened. That is the frequency. Okay. Next is inferential. Statistical type of data is one thing. Next is inferential data. Now, what is inferential data? It is nothing but comparison. Okay. Cross tabulation. Cross tabulation means you take the entire data and you try to study the pattern. Means at what time the frequency has increased, at what time the frequency has decreased, at what time the median point was reached, at what time the mode point was reached. Like that, if you compare and see two sets of data, it is called cross tabulation. Okay. And next is Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo method actually predicts trends. Okay. What are the trends? See, sometimes some product becomes very, very famous. Sometimes the product becomes very, very less popular. Okay. So when is something becoming popular? That is predicting a trend. So depending on the society, depending on the social conditions, depending on the political conditions, the trends keep changing. Now that can be studied through Monte Carlo method. And next is variance. Variance is nothing but studying the differences in data. What are the chief differences in data? Okay. And next, cohort. Cohorting means grouping within. Suppose we are taking data for 100 people. So in that 100, we can cohort. Like how? Among these 100, how many people are from age groups? Teenage group? How many people are adult group? How many people are old people group? Like that, we can create groups within the data. That is called cohorting. Okay. And next, SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis we teach students all the time, isn't it? SWOT analysis is nothing but each letter stands for one word. S for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunity, and T for threat. Now, this is how you you do analyze a product and you try to find out which product is good. Okay, can we have the next slide, please? Next, research ethics. Yeah, as I told at the very beginning of the seminar, ethics is very important for a researcher. It is the duty of the researcher to take responsibility for what he or she has invented and to give the people the truth about it. What are the advantages of it? What are the disadvantages of it? What are the threats that might come from that discovery? Or what are the safe things that might come out of that discovery? It is very important for the researcher to follow these ethical values. Okay. So, what are the ethics that are to be followed in a research? When we are doing qualitative analysis or quantitative analysis, we have to take care of a few things. Suppose I am doing a qualitative analysis on different types of customers. Okay. So in that case, I should take consent of the customers. I can't use their opinions without taking their permission. That is wrong. That is very unethical. So that is why for a researcher, if they're doing an interview, the first thing they have to do is take the consent. Ask them if they are comfortable talking about it. Ask them if they are willing or ready to participate in the research. So you can take the consent in an oral form, you can record it, or you can take it in a written form and give them the form and ask them to sign it. Okay, so that is the first thing. Respect the dignity and confidentiality of the participant. So if the participant is saying yes, give respect to the participant and please don't give their names. Suppose we are using people who for inventing a new medicine, suppose. So sometimes they take people for human trials. Now, when they take people for human trials, it is very important to maintain confidentiality of that person. Means we should not tell about their name and address to anyone. Okay. And we should also tell them that this is a new product. It might create problems for them. So we have to minimize the risk to the subjects, especially for medical purposes, especially for things like vaccine or new medicines. Minimizing risk to the person is very, very important. That is the first ethical principle that we have to follow. Mostly people do it out of necessity, out of some kind of problems that they have. Okay. So it is very important that such people should not be exploited, that they should be respected for the sacrifice that they are doing. So that is why there should be dignity, there should be confidentiality, and the risk should be minimized to the participant. And finally, justice. So if you are doing something, they should so risky for you. They are doing something so risky for science. They are doing something so risky for the greater good. Then there should be justice. They should be compensated in a very good way. So that is also the duty of the researcher to see to it that the person is compensated amply for the risk they are taking. So these are the 4 points that are important for research ethics. We should take their consent either orally or written. We should give them dignity. We should keep their information confidential. We should minimize the risk. And finally, we should give them enough compensation. These are the ethical values that are to be followed by any kind of researcher. Next, please. Conclusion. Now we have come to the last aspect of research analysis. To conclude, I can say that a researcher should collect, analyze, interpret, and communicate data. The tools are used to collect information, the tools are used to analyze the information, to interpret the data, and to communicate the results to the people. Now, it can facilitate, the tools can facilitate data collection, visualization, collaboration, and documentation. With the data that we have collected, we can use it to visualize trends, to understand and predict trends. We can use it for collaboration, means we can use it as a teamwork also. And we can use it for documentation, means we can categorize it and we can file it and we can be using it for future purpose. Both qualitative and quantitative tools are equally effective and efficient. They both help. And in fact, every researcher will assert that both methods are necessary for fulfilling the research completely. And select a tool according to the purpose. If you need opinions, go for qualitative tools. If you need the numbers, go for quantitative tools. If you need both, use both. Okay. So take an expert opinion when you employ tools. And trial testing for compatibility. Now, before you start the research, just do a short trial and see how much these tools are useful to you. And pick out a tool which will help you solve your problem. There are so many varieties of tools. As I told you, there are hundreds of tools. So you have to choose which tool is best for you. And next, adequate training. Before you start using the tool, train yourself first. Train yourself, and only then you proceed with your research. Next slide. Research is turning the unknown into reality. So research is doing something, bringing something unknown into the possibility. Okay. So making unknown into reality is what research is. And that is what all researchers like us should strive for. So with that, I conclude my presentation. I thank you all for giving a patient ear to me. So if you have any queries, I will be very happy to answer.